This Mason County Press webcast is brought to you by All Access Care of Ludington, premium service with a personal touch. Located at 329 North Jabavi Drive in Ludington. Call 231-425-4544. This is Kate Krieger reporting for the Mason County Press webcast, and I am joined with Jim Gallie, Ludington State Park Manager. Well, the reason I had you come in right now is because this weekend we know is probably going to be the kickoff to your busiest weekend. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Memorial Day weekend this year compared to last year? Are you guys booked up?
Yeah, we are booked up, as we typically are for Memorial Day weekend. It's almost like the test run for the park, Memorial Day weekend.
That's a good way to put it,
We're fairly slow except on a few weekends in May. And then it really ramps up quickly, and then the number of campers will just drop right off after Memorial Day weekend. And we'll have maybe 2 more slow weeks before, again, it ramps up for the summer season. For camping, we're the number one in the state for camping, number of camp nights. We get about 45,000 camp nights, so every night that someone stays there, that counts as one of those. Total population, we're probably within the top 10 just for the number of visitors that we get. We don't get nearly as many as places like Warren Dunes, Grand Haven, and Holland for the day use. They're so close to Grand Rapids and Chicago that they
That makes sense. And I know that reservations open when in the beginning of the year?
Well, it's actually a rotating window throughout the entire year. 6 months in advance of the day that you want to arrive. That's when you need to call, and we recommend you call right away because there's going to be a big rush of people calling, and it'll usually fill up the campground within the first 5 minutes. So, by 8:05, everything may be booked.
Now, is it online or is it people talking on the phone?
You can do both.
How many people do you have on the phone?
Well, fortunately, they don't call us. We have a central reservation system that they can call. And it's 1-800-44-PARKS.
Okay.
And then you can also go online to the Michigan DNR internet service or reservation service. Take care of it through that. I recommend that way. I think it's a little bit quicker. It's a little bit easier. And we have a new system in place that lets you search for just regions.
So what are some things that, are your major draws to the park, would you say? I know people fishing, obviously, and camping. But what kinds of other things maybe that are hidden gems that you could tell people?
Part of it with the waterways. Just having those 3 waterways there provides so much diversity of recreation. We're going through our general management planning process right now, which for the park, and we've been doing a lot of brainstorming as a group on what makes Ludington State Park so unique, and that's one thing that keeps coming up over and over again. Is having Lake Michigan, having Hamlin Lake, and having that river in between provides a lot of recreation. I mean, fishing, kayaking, stand-up paddle boarding. Hamlin Lake is great for families. It warms up earlier in the year. Better, a little bit safer for children. Lake Michigan, later in the season warms up after Hamlin gets too warm.
Talk about the trails. How many trails do you know roughly?
We have 21 miles of hiking trails right now. And some of those do double duty as cross-country ski trails in the winter months. And then there's a whole network of trails south of the river that are kind of unofficial trails, like the Lake Stride Trail.
Do you consider the canoeing trails in those numbers?
Not in that number, no. And the canoe trail is just something totally different. That was the first one in the state that we had, designated canoe trail in a state park. And I think it's probably one of only a couple of them that are still around.
How many acres is the whole park, do you know?
5,300.
Where the park sign is, right after the caboose, if everybody knows what I'm talking about, the one random house out there past, Piney Ridge Road there. That starts the state park. But the booth is further down because then you guys don't have to plow that road in the winter.
It's a state highway. So, we don't have to maintain it, which is very fortunate for us.
People are also lucky that whole section along the road is fully accessible for swimming or whatever, and then they don't have to have the passport, which we want them to have, which is how much this year?
It's $11 for Michigan residents. It's interesting though. One year we were looking at that. We wanted to find out just how many people that park along the road have the permits versus how many that don't. Because I've always believed that most of the people along there have them. They just pick that beach because that's their favorite part of the beach. And usually 80% or more of the people that park along that road have those rec passports.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Well, and I think the thing that people don't understand is they think they're buying it and it only gets you into Ludington State Park, but it gets you into any state park in the state of Michigan, which for $11...
It's a steal.
It is, because how much is a daily pass?
We don't do daily passes for Michigan residents anymore.
Okay.
But it used to be $6.
Okay. So still, if you did the math, I mean, you one time, you know, the second time you go, you've already paid more than what you would have paid. So what are things that are happening right now out at the state park? A lot of fishing or not so much yet?
There's been some people fishing. Okay. I heard that the steelhead run this year wasn't that good.
Okay.
We haven't had a lot of people. Just a lot of people out hiking, biking, birding is pretty popular, so there are quite a few people out. You can see them with binoculars, especially out in front of the park headquarters, which is a good spot for warblers at this time of year. We're starting to get our campers coming in.
Let's talk about Big Point Sawmill.
Okay.
That's a huge, huge draw for people. It's one of the probably the most, or one of the most photographed lighthouses in the state of Michigan. It's actually on, Michigan.gov on their header.
Right.
That's the picture. So, and Brad and Todd do a lot of, photographing of it. So how many people do you think?
I want to say maybe 90,000 is what their numbers were last year. Wow. I'm not exactly sure. It seems like that's a number that rings a bell, which is quite a few people, considering you have to walk almost 4 miles to get out there and back.
Now, are there 2 different days or something that you guys offer, like rides out there?
Actually, 6 days this year.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, two a month, starting in June, July, and August.
Okay. Do you happen to know when they
Saturdays. I think the 13th, the 26th sounds familiar. You can go on to...
I'm putting you on the spot here.
That's going to be a little bit
tough.
Go
online and look. So.
Michigan.gov/Ludington, and that'll link you up with the webpage.
All right. And another person that does so much for you guys is Mr. Sasson.
Oh, Bob. Yeah, he's the head of the president of the Friends group right now.
Right.
And he's kind of in charge of their volunteer coordination, and he's spectacular.
I did an article on him back before, and I didn't know who he was, and now I run into him everywhere. But he does an awesome job to do a lot of things out there. You also have the Skyline Trail, which is popular, the amphitheater now, which a lot of people are using to get married at, and I know there's a small fee.
Yeah, that's increased a lot.
Okay.
My first year working here at Ludington, which was 2011, we'd get maybe 3-4 weddings a year, and now it seems like it's just a steady stream of phone calls for weddings at the amphitheater.
That's cool.
$100 gets you the amphitheater from 9 in the morning till 5 p.m., and everything that comes along with it. Nice location.
Everything along that comes with it, and no guarantee that you don't have any onlookers that weren't invited.
Oh, there's always a lot of people that are there.
Which is kind of cool, though, I would think so. Every person that I've ever interviewed that's in our age bracket, they say, I couldn't wait to leave here. I'm so glad I came back. 2 of the biggest things I took for granted were the school systems and growing up here, and the nature, the state park, the lake, and that kind of thing. So you do end up seeing a lot more people returning and coming back and getting involved and telling friends and family in order to come up here.
That's something my wife, who's a Uper from the west end of the UP, when we moved down here, that was something she talked about. She's like, I can't believe, so many people I know that grew up in Ludington, took off, and came back, and they think Ludington is the greatest place in the world. And there's a passion for Ludington.
There is. That you can't explain unless you're born or raised kind of on the lake somewhere. So through Labor Day, you guys basically, except for these couple weeks coming up, pretty much booked? Yeah,
pretty much. Though I always tell people, because we work a lot of RV shows, and Ludington receives more comments or complaints than any other one about how difficult it is to get in.
Right.
And we always tell people, just be persistent. People make reservations 6 months in advance, but life changes, gets in the way, and so there's always a lot of cancellations. So if you're persistent, check online regularly, phone in regularly to the reservation center. A lot of times you'll find stuff even a week or 2 before you plan on coming. Okay.
3 campgrounds: Pines, closest to Lake Michigan.
And my favorite.
Cedar in the middle, and then Beechwood. But you also have the walk-in sites. What are they called?
Jack Pine.
Jack Pine walk-in sites. But tell me a little bit about those.
Yeah, that was the old, what they call organizational camp.
Okay.
That's where Boy Scout groups would go, and Girl Scout groups if they wanted to do overnight camping. And I want to say maybe 10 years ago or so, they just decided that they weren't seeing as many of those groups come in as they used to be. And Ludington State Park doesn't provide a real backcountry experience. for the type of camper who doesn't want to camp right next to someone. And so they converted those over into rustic sites. And so there are a couple of pit toilets out there, a hand pump for water, picnic table, fire circle, and then
the other sites consist of what kind of amenities?
All of our sites have electricity.
Okay.
That's the main amenity that comes with those. And then you're close to modern restroom facilities with showers, flush toilets.
And you guys have just updated a lot of them in the last couple of years.
Yeah, we updated the entire water system a couple of years ago, so everything in there is new. And then we updated all of the Pines campground electrical. We're finally moving into the 50 amp territory. A lot of the bigger RVs require that now.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I have no idea what
that
means.
typically 20 and 30 amp service was sufficient, but bigger rigs with bigger equipment, bigger refrigerators and freezers.
There's some gorgeous ones that come through there, and I'm like, that costs more than my house.
Oh, easily.
And they're pulling some cars behind. I'm like, wow, these people, those are some lucky people that get to do that. So.
Last RV show I was at, there were a couple there that were over 300,000.
Wow. You can get a really nice house in Ludington. They should just move here.
Yeah.
We would enjoy having them here. But, a couple other things that I just wanted to hit on, too, that I don't think a lot of people know, because when I'm out there talking to people, people will ask questions, or just people that I know. Mm-hmm. The abandoned Boy Scout camp on the other side of the dam, that's kind of a neat thing to go see. If you were to cross the dam and then you see that open dune there, if you were to go around that side, so I guess I don't know.
Yeah, you're moving around to almost the northeast,
right
around the bay.
There you go.
And it's got a neat history. That actually started off as a Girl Scout camp.
Oh, it was a Girl Scout camp.
Yeah, started off as a Girl Scout camp, I think in 1940, 41.
Okay.
It was a Girl Scout camp for a while. Then there was a decline in the number of Girl Scouts that were heading out there, and they changed it over to like the Michigan United Conservation Club, MUCC.
Okay.
Did an outdoor center and camp there, and that ran all the way up into the early 70s.
So I've been lying to people the whole time. It was the girls, not the boys.
There were boys that stayed there.
All right, good. So I think that's kind of one of the cool things. The Skyline Trail, I think, is another cool thing, and I think what a lot of people might not know is that you don't have to walk the whole thing. Mm-hmm. That there's a center walk down, or you can start in the middle and go up and finish.
Yeah, but you want to do the whole thing.
I agree.
It's pretty beautiful.
I agree, but I mean, if you aren't, let's say you have a bum knee, you can't do the whole thing or something like that. But there's a great sledding hill in the winter, but the first time you go down and have to walk back up, I'm like, I'm done. That's all I'm doing. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell people about the park? Your favorite thing about the park? Why people should come to the park?
My favorite thing is the dunes. Getting up, especially to the north, there's just some beautiful territory walking through the open dunes there. It's special. Biggest shoreline dune complex in the nation, possibly the world.
Right.
So that's pretty special there. And I guess I have to say, as good as the park is, one of the reasons it's so good is our staff. Got a great staff there. Awesome secretary. Dan's a wonderful supervisor. Our officers are incredible. And our janitors keep that place clean. And then the summer help that we get.
Right.
They're the ones on the front line.
Right.
And, we hire them usually for 1 or 2 summers. Fortunately, this year we had a lot of returning employees. But
that's good.
They're the ones that make it happen.
Don't you have a couple older gentlemen, and when I say older, they're older, that have been working out there for a long time, that work the second shift or something?
Well, Ed, he's been there, I'm trying to think now, maybe 15 to 20 years.
Was he a teacher?
He was a teacher at Mason County Eastern, and he was also a park officer at Mears State Park during the summers for quite a few years. So
I knew he had been had a long history being out there. So, it's not just what you think of like the high school and college kids. I mean, there's some people that have a real passion for, the outdoors and the state park and keeping it clean. And is there any way people could donate money? I know to the Friends of the Ludington State Park, if that will stay directly with our state park.
Yeah, that's a nice thing about going through the Friends group. All of that money goes towards improvements in the park.
Okay, so if they want to make a check or donate money to them, they want to send it to the Friends of Ludington State Park.
Yeah, that Friends group purchased a handicap accessible beach walkway recently.
That's right.
They've purchased cross-country ski equipment, grooming equipment for us, and they pay for all of the special events that happen at the amphitheater.
Awesome.
All of the bands that are there. each year. This year we've got Billy Strings and Don Julin playing there.
Oh, nice.
Awesome Distraction, which is a local
Yes, Chloe Kimes and the two boys from Manistee that I
Yep.
never remember their names.
Yep, they're going to play there a few times. Mike Lenich, cool. It's Lee Murdoch. So they pay for all of that. So all of the money that comes in through donations, plus it also goes towards trail signs. We're just getting ready at the beginning of June, maybe mid-June. We're going to renumber the entire trail system and put up new maps. And that's all paid for by Friends Group money.
Wow. And the beach house is newly renovated.
Yeah, that was a big project through the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund.
It looks really nice.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job on that.
They definitely did. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And
this was fun.
Enjoy the next couple of hours, basically, you have before your, crazy season kicks in, but I'm sure it's fun for you.
We look forward to it every year.
It's fun to meet new people and see, I'm sure you guys see people that have been coming back and request that, can we get site number? They, as much as they try, I'm sure they can't always, but.
Yeah, we see people, there were people that when I came back here recognized me from 20 years ago working as a summer ranger. So
that's cool.
A lot of returning people.
Awesome. Well, Jim, I appreciate it. And one more time, website for reservations?
Just go to michigan.gov/Ludington, and there will be a link for that.
Okay. And anything else that's going on out there?
Right.
Summer through winter, fall, spring. Because the winter still, with the snowshoe hiking and the cross-country skiing and all that, too, it's pretty cool. So, well, I appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good one. Thanks. Yeah. This Mason County Press webcast was brought to you by All Access Care of Ludington, premium service with a personal touch, located at 329 North Jababi Drive in Ludington. Call 231-425-4544.